All right, super quick video today about our neurodivergent brains. Um, so here's something I've been talking about with a lot of my couples this week is this phenomenon of for every challenge that I might have with the fact that my partner's wired differently than I am, can I identify the strengths of their brain as well? Right. So a lot of times it's really easy to get focused on the things our partners can say and do that are really frustrating or really challenging for us. And like, sure, yeah, there could be a lot of things that are hard about living with a person whose brain is really different than yours. But also like what are the amazing things, right? What are the benefits? Especially if we have families, right? Raising kids as a neurodivergence is also not easy, but also like what are some of the great things about it, right? So I just want to invite all of you, all of us, to keep an eye out this week for what are the things that are really amazing, really beneficial about the way my partner's brain is wired. Let me give you a few examples. So let's say that it's really frustrating in your relationship. Let's say you are in a relationship with somebody who sometimes doesn't hear what you say. Sometimes this person, you walk into a room, they don't notice that you're there. Let's say you say hi, they don't say back, say hi back, right? Because they're doing a thing or their focus is somewhere else. Maybe you even have a conversation with them, a very brief conversation. Hey, do you want to go get pizza tonight? Yeah, sure, that sounds good. And maybe they don't remember it, or it hasn't really like soaked in. This can happen. Right? And that can be hard, right? It's frustrating to feel like you don't hear me. You're not like listening to me. I'm not getting through. But are there times where actually that's really beneficial, right? Are there times where there can be kids screaming in the back of the car and your partner can just lock in and drive like nothing's happening? Can there be times where there is just distraction after distraction going on and they can focus in and get something done in a situation where that might be challenging for someone else, right? Are there ways that this can be a challenge at times, but actually serves you in other times? Here's another example. Maybe your partner gets distracted by every little thing. Like you're talking and they're like, uh-huh, uh-huh. Oh, what was that? What was that noise? Right? And you're like, dude, like I'm right here. Like let's keep like that's just like a squirrel. Right? Maybe there are times where I don't know, where something is going on and then they kind of stop what they're doing and go rush and do something else. And that can be frustrating. Again, like I get it. It's like, okay, like are you present in this moment? It can be hard, right? But are there times where this person's ability to get distracted by things can actually be really helpful? Real example, I was out to lunch once with a neurotypical friend of mine, and we were chatting. We were even talking about the challenges of neurodivergent brains and how it's not easy. We're talking, and she dropped her hat, which of course I see out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, "Oh, here's your hat." And it's like, "Oh, actually, like, sometimes the squirrel is a helpful thing to notice." Are there times where maybe your partner realizes that something is burning a few seconds before you would have and is able to respond quickly, right? Are there times where yeah, noticing that something's like, huh, you're right, that is a little out of the ordinary, right? That does actually need attention. Or you did actually hear the kid crying from the next room and I wouldn't have heard that because I was so focused on what I was doing, right? So so that's the invitation, right? And I realize that those two examples I gave are probably ADHD examples. If you are a neurodivergent partner partnered with a neurotypical partner, keep an eye out for some of those, right? Man, it's annoying that my partner is always hounding me about like putting stuff away, but man, is it nice that when I need it, I can find it. Or yeah, I know that when we're traveling, like you are going to have things taken care of and you'll have an itinerary and I get to just show up and that's wonderful. So, yeah, the invitation here is to acknowledge that we don't always get to pick and choose. We don't get to pick and choose, like, can I just have like the awesome parts of your brain, but like not have to put up with like the annoying parts? Doesn't really work that way. Although I will say that when we do have our challenges, right, especially as well, neurodivergents or neurotypicals, we all have our quirks, right? And it is our responsibility to try to be aware of our quirks and to try to manage them in a way that minimizes the negative impact on the people around us. Maybe it's not ever going to be zero, but we can try to do our very best to minimize the impact, right? But let's also acknowledge that sometimes the way that we're wired can bring some challenges, but it also can bring some really wonderful things as well.